Brandon was so happy. That's the only word I can describe, because every day it was a new adventure. Like, there were so many firsts and there were so many special moments. And then happiness kind of like just came to an end, and it was so sudden. I think every parent who's ever experienced being told bad news about their children, there's that look that's on the doctor's face. And it's like they don't want to tell you there's something wrong because they know it's going to break your heart. So he says, "Mrs. Schmidt, you have anybody here?" And I said, "No, sir. My husband deployed this morning." And he said, "How about your mom?" And I said, "Why are you asking if my mom is here?" He said, "Brandon's really sick, and I really think it's important that somebody's with you." I was sitting there holding his hand, and those bleep bleeps on the machine just kept reminding me that I had failed. I had failed to being a mom because I let my son get sick. I don't know how he managed it, but I just remember looking up and he fluttered his eyelashes a couple times and he goes, "I'm hungry." And I was like, "Oh, thank God. Thank God. You're gonna be okay."
I was on my way to a production that I was in New York City, and my beeper went off with 911, and it was my wife. And I pulled over and went to a phone. I know that Caitlin had been sick and, hadn't been feeling well. And she said, "Tom, I just took Caitlin to the doctors, and they want me to take her to the emergency room. They think it's diabetes. Meet me there." As soon as I walked in, the smell, the heat, everything I felt, and I still remember to this day. I walked in the room and I looked at her and she couldn't even cry anymore. They had poked and prodded and did everything they could to her. And she just said one thing to me. She looked at everything around her and she said, "Daddy." I said, "What, honey?" She said, "Fix." She said, "Fix." When they discharged Caitlin from the hospital, we decided as a family that we would take on this challenge to do everything we could to make sure that Caitlin wouldn't be held back by anything with this disease or without it.
I remember Marissa drinking a lot, beginning to drink a lot towards the last part of the summer, and begging, literally begging for water at night. And we at first thought it was just the heat, but it became clear that it was something more than that. Sorry. 21 years later, I still feel the same.
You almost go through these different stages where you're in denial, and then you get angry, and then you grieve. You grieve that innocence that will always be gone, because from that moment on, always gonna have diabetes right there, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
One of the biggest challenges you have living with type 1 is the mental burden. That sense of isolation that often comes with living with a chronic medical condition can be very taxing. Learning that you're not alone, having other families to talk with, having kids meet other kids living with diabetes is critically important. That support that you get is what sustains you. It's what replenishes you. It's what rejuvenates you to let you go deal with it another day.
We say there is no such thing as normal except for dryer setting. But when children who have diabetes are around other children who have diabetes, that is their normal.
You need the push, you need the words of encouragement. Just coming to the realization that you can do whatever you want to.
All of a sudden, this light bulb is turned on. It's just this incredible feeling of self-value. You feel like it doesn't matter that you have diabetes.
Type 1 diabetes is what you make it. You control it, or it controls you. It's up to you how you handle it.
You don't have to like diabetes, but you can do great things living with it. And if you bring that positive perspective to everything you do, you can have a happy, healthy, wonderful life. That's the goal.